Day 6 on Slavia's good ending. Well, it'll be the good ending if we make the good choices. I did not sleep well. I kept waking up for a minute or two and then dropping off again. I didn't dream much, just some grotesque images, forgotten by morning. Olga woke me up. Wake up already. I rubbed my eyes open and looked at her questioningly. What time is it? Late enough. My whole body ached and my head was heavy like a bowling ball. Pull yourself together and go wash up right now. I stood up obediently, took my toiletry bag and went outside. I didn't want to talk to the camp leader at that moment. A lecture was clearly coming, a hard one. I'd better put it off as much as I can. After all, I always did things this way. Trying not to fall asleep on my feet, I somehow made it to the wash basins. The cold water knocked some sense into me. Maybe I should pay Slavia a visit. I still have some time left. Just to tell her I'm sorry. On the other hand, why should I justify myself? Wait, for what? Did I miss something? It was her idea. And what did I do wrong? Yeah. Besides, once again getting myself into a silly situation where all the odds are against me. I took a deep breath and went back to Olga's cabin with the firm intention of proving myself innocent, or at least showing that I will stand my ground. But the room was empty. I sat on the bed and dropped my face into my hands. I need to come up with an excuse, now, a nice and believable excuse. If she won't believe the truth, well, that's not surprising. If it was her, if I was her, I wouldn't believe it either. Nothing worthwhile was coming to me. I was just sitting here gazing at the sunrise. The door swung silently open and the camp leader came into the room. Olga, I'd still like to explain to you that... No need. I looked at her surprised. I understand everything. So you do understand it wasn't what it looked like? Why, it looked exactly like it was. I don't want to condemn either you or Slavia. I understand everything. Puberty, hormones, all that kind of stuff. Ah, nice. Good on you, Olga. I sighed tiredly and laid my head down in my hands. What do I need to say to make you believe me? Nothing. I said it already. I understand everything. Don't understand a thing, I muttered under my breath. I think she does, though. Okay, head over to line up. I stood up and dragged myself lazily along with her. But could I at least pay her a visit? Of course not. The camp leader looked at me with such surprise as if my question was something completely inappropriate. I've already warned the nurse not to let you in. Oh. Well, am I allowed to know how she is at least? Well, it looks like Slavia is actually sick. I didn't manage to ask how serious it was as we reached the square already. Go and take your place. I took a place next to electronic. Oh, what happened yesterday? He whispered to me. What are you talking about? Well, you suddenly disappeared. Well, nothing special. Telling everything to the entire camp was the last thing I wanted. Well, after all, even if the camp leader got us wrong, then what would the others think? Though I've already started thinking that it's not entirely wrong. The entire lineup consisted of a roll call and announcement that the shower room has closed today for repairs. Finally, the pioneers ran for breakfast, chatting happily. And they didn't talk about the camp ending tomorrow? Like preparations, we leave at this and this hour? Nothing like that? I miserably followed them. Frankly speaking, I wasn't in the mood for eating. After hanging out near the canteen doors for a while, I turned around and headed away. Oh, clueless. I don't know how it turned out this way. Oh no, what happened? But eventually the infirmary appeared from nowhere in front of me. Looks like my autopilot just kicked in. I stared at the door at a total loss. They won't let me in anyway. What can I do now? Should I wait for Olga's sentence if it ever comes? Should I wait until everybody in the camp knows? And that's even worse. Wicked glances from everywhere, the alienation. That is what will happen for sure. Yeah, I don't think so, dude. No, I haven't done anything wrong, but in the enclosed circle of this bizarre society, such behavior would be treated, if not as sin, then as serious deviation. For sure. You say so. And that means that I've already got nothing left to lose. I knocked without any more hesitation. We all answered, just a moment. I pulled up the doorknob, but it wouldn't open. It's locked? In a few moments I heard a key turning in the keyhole and a nurse appeared. Good morning, Pioneer. Hi, I answered confidently. Well, you know you're not allowed in here. Well, I do, but if you'd... Nah, that's not the way things work, she said playfully. The camp leader's order is an order, after all. If you ask me personally, I don't find anything immoral in your behavior. But Olga, maybe I can do something? No, you can't. I looked at her angrily, turned around and walked away with theatrical slowness. I didn't know what to do next. I just pressed on forward, punching the trees that stood in my way. I recovered from this burst of rage only when my hands were hurting badly and my lips were bitten until they bled. Oof, that's a lot of rage. The other camp counselors are too busy having sex somewhere else, says an awful monkey. Source was a camp counselor. Oh, right. Oh, good times, I guess. I never experienced this kind of camp in my youth. I don't think, anyway, not that I remember. Yeah, maybe I did like a day here. Like we stayed overnight somewhere and went out paddling canoes and stuff. Yeah, camp counselors. But that doesn't surprise me at all. They're all still. We haven't seen any others. We've seen the nurse. We've seen Olga. That's all we've seen. So they're all off, busy doing something else. Something else. Doing each other, I mean. And the most interesting thing is that all my unbelievable awakening in an unknown pioneer camp has turned into the most trivial life drama. A drama as stupid as my entire existence. Yet again, I did something wrong. I thought something wrong, and they got it all wrong. Wrong. That word doesn't mean what you think it means, Semyon. Fine then, just let everything be. Nobody was near the canteen. I sighed in relief and took a place in the farthest corner, hoping that nobody would see me. Somehow, stuffing my breakfast in, I was about to leave already when Miko dashed up by the table. Oh, good morning, Simeon. I kind of overslept today. Can I take a place here next to you? She sat down straight away. Well, I'm kind of leaving already. Is it true that you and Slavia are like that? Well, you know what I'm talking about. She stared at me closely, blinking her eyes. Who told you that? Well, one would expect the rumors to spread fast, but not that fast. I started to slowly go into rage mode. Rage? I heard it from Senya, and she probably heard it from Cheesecob, and he heard it from Olga. I don't want to misunderstand. I don't want you to misunderstand me. It's not my business. But if you don't want to, then don't answer. But if it's not a secret. Oh, you're right. I don't want to answer. I stood up and quietly headed towards the exit. It was a hot day. This amplified my anger since I don't like the heat. Oh, he's getting blue-balled. Is that all the anger in being blue-balled? Yeah. Well, anger is not. I mean, it feels annoying being blue-balled, yeah, but raging on people, being mean, let me on. Right now, anything can drive me out of my wits, but I had to make up my mind now on how to conduct myself. Yeah. But I Monkey says, oof. I didn't want to run into anyone, so I went into the forest where I could think calmly. Good on you. Having stopped in a glade, I sat on a stump, took a stick, and started to pick at the ground with it. If there's nothing that's up to me, all I can do is simply wait. But, in fact, what can I do? Assault the infirmary? Even if I succeed, what comes next? Try to bring Olga to her senses? Hardly possible. Funnily enough, this whole enigma turned into a simple everyday situation. If it was happening in my world, there would be no problems at all. Come on, really, what's the problem? Even if I did sleep with a girl, who cares? Indeed. Even if I actually was 17, even then, nothing terrible would happen anyways. It would be slightly more awkward, but still tolerable, and now what? I'm not the master of my fate. Although, was I ever? Nope, you were not. I don't like the word fate because it implies like a destiny, like it was meant to be. But it's like universe seems to be deterministic though. Is there anything at all that was up to me my entire life? Well, it depends on your perspective, right? Like, I can have a bag of candies with some licorice in it. And I can decide not to eat any of the licorice. Whatever. Colgate Inotap asks, what's the difference between fate and destiny? Well, fate and destiny, they all seem to imply like there's some intention in what happens into the future. Right? Like, it's like when someone says it was meant to be, like someone decided that it happened. And I kind of slight connotation difference. Banana Waffle Monkey says, yeah, maybe. It was fated to be, it was destined to be. Destiny tends to be more positive, fate is a little more negative or neutral at best. Yeah, I can agree with that assessments from Banana Waffle Monkey. But both of them kind of implies like a god or whatever. So I don't like them. I would rather use the term deterministic when talking about this, like, and again, like for my example, I can make up my mind and eat the candy or not eat the candy. But my taste buds, if I like licorice or not, that is not up to me. So one could argue in that sense that it wasn't up to me, the decision, but it depends on your point of view, right? If it was up to you or not. Interestingly enough, like looking at physics and stuff like that, it kind of seems like the universe, the world outside ourselves, seems to be working in a deterministic manner. Like that nothing is up to me in my entire life. But counter to that, if you look into psychology, they called it like your perspective on this, like an individual's perspective on life and worldview. If people who feel that they are in control, it's called loci of control, if I remember correctly. But it has been shown like a lot of positive correlation that you have a more successful, I mean economically I suppose, or happier life if you feel that you are in control in your life. So having these kind of emotions or perspective on life seems to be counterproductive, where it is more productive to have the perspective that you are in control of your life. College in Antwerp says, taste buds are still part of you, so isn't it up to you? Is it though? Do you remember when you made the decision to like sugar or not like sugar? Or like candy or not like candy? Or like licorice or not? Do you remember when you made that decision? Because I sure don't. Like, the color of my eyes are part of me, but I didn't decide what color to have, right? It's the nature versus... It's not even nature versus nurture, it's just... If it's nurtured, then it's not up to you. If it's nature, then it's not up to you in psychology, right? So it depends on your perspective. So, I mean, you could probably get used to eating stuff that you can, like, I don't like licorice, for example, but I could probably, eat licorice every day for months, let's say half a year. Then maybe I will like licorice in half a year, perhaps. I don't know. I've never tried it. Well, I have tried it. I've tried to like beer. I don't like beer. I've tried it, drinking, not every day, but I've been trying like every weekend for probably a year. I tried drinking beer, but I just didn't get used to it. I don't like it. I really tried to like it, but no. So I stopped. And one could argue that just me trying wasn't up to me. That was like a peer pressure. Everybody's drinking beer, and here I am drinking my cider and my vodka. Life would be easier if I enjoyed beer. Well, teenage life, young adult life would be easier. Drinking beer all the time like everybody else. Cheaper and easier. That's interesting. So I would argue that you should have the perspective that you are in control in your life, but you should also be aware that you are not. And actually, we come to another very interesting distinction. I saw this argument. It was so great with free will thinking. Like, right now we're talking about yourself, like what is up to me, and that it helps me to think that I am in control. But it's a mistake it seems to be a mistake when looking at the universe, because the universe seems to be deterministic, and so nothing seems to be up to you. But then we have a pragmatic point of view on the same question. It's, if you believe that people have a free will, that stuff are up to people, like not yourself, but other people. Like they can decide whether to like licorice or not, whether they can decide to be nice or mean to you. The interesting consequence, a possible consequence of these two different modes of thinking, is that I'm thinking about crime and punishment now. Is when you have the attitude that universe is deterministic, then a criminal, someone who commits a crime, then if we have a deterministic view of the world, then you could ask yourself, why did this person behave this way? Then you can look for a causal and make a causal analysis. Then you can try to, it comes to the, like sending people to prison is, there's two parts to it. One is for the punishment and the other one is for societal benefit, what's it called? The betterment of the person. I don't remember the word I'm looking for here. But it's like these two different perspectives. And if you have the deterministic view, then let's say that prison, the attitude of the person having that perspective would be that, oh, let's make that person better because we can change the causes of this behavior, right? Banana Waffle Monkey says, and then justify any prison sentence with, well, we were determined by fate to send them to prison. Yeah, and there we go. That's why I'm not using the word fate. I don't like the word fate here. It's like their behavior was unavoidable, but we can avoid it in the future by changing the cause, like a causal relationship. That's how humanity has been so successful, right? We've manipulated the reality around us. So, and what's the difference? If we look at free will, then we say it was a person's choice. Like if they slap you in the face, it was their person's choice. Then there is no room for causal analysis. Then it's just that person is a douchebag. And that ends all sort of betterment of that person. It's the perspective just stops there, right there. That person is a douchebag. There it stops. There is no way to make that person stop being a douchebag, since he's just a douchebag. It's up to him. It's not up to me, right? So that's the third perspective, is that like having a deterministic worldview makes us maybe a bit friendlier, a bit more trying to help people to do better. Colgate in on tap says it could be a tick that accidentally hits another person. Exactly. That's exactly it. It could be a tick, someone did something like that, and that is a perfect example of someone not being in control, right? And if you have a deterministic point of view on other people, then they are almost never, well, it's a fluid line, I suppose, but usually they are not in control of their actions. Should we blame them for that then, or should we help them to become better? Like be the stimuli that they need to become better, like stop doing that. And a tick even is like, if you find that out, if you do a causal analysis and find out, oh, this person are having ticks and can hit people who are close by, then, well, you know this about that person, and you can take a step back and don't be so close to that person and accidentally get hit, right? There is, having that perspective on other people gives you way more control, in my opinion. That's how that's an interesting third way to look at it. So for ourselves, we should look ourselves as being in control. When we look at the universe, it seems like we are not in control. And we're looking at other people. It seems to me like the best way is to look at them like they are not in control. Which makes this discussion all kinds of fucked up. All kinds of fucked up, depending on what perspective you take. Interesting discussion. Have I ever reached any peak that I was seeking? Wait, have he even been seeking peaks? And now, once you've reached one, I can't hold my ground. Maybe I was just a spectator from the very beginning. My mystical appearance in this camp, all the local residents, and all the events that happened to me. Please stop saying this in art. All of this is just a weird game and I'm only a pawn. Yes, we know it's a game. You don't have to. It's hard enough to suspend my disbelief. You don't have to rub it in my face that it is a game. Well, if that is so, I will still play out my role to my best. Yeah, we know. Colgate Inotep says he tried and succeeded in achieving grand mastery of watching anime and lame internet jokes. Yeah, indeed. Grand mastery. Well, we haven't seen him at it, but probably, one would assume, if you do something over and over and over again, you get better at it. So probably he was pretty good at it. But I mean, it depends, right? What do you consider grand mastery? That is some kind of peak. Yeah. I got up and headed to the camp, prepared to take no prisoners. Interestingly. Ironically. I don't know. The plan wasn't completely finished in my head, but I've made up my mind already. So what are you gonna do? There was no one at the camp leader's cabin. I rummaged through the cabinets and packed up a sleeping bag, my winter clothes, a flashlight, and some other garments I found. Wait, what is he doing? Is he running away? Maybe. If you do something over and over again, says Banana Waffle Monkey, you'll get better. Each multi-strike does more and more damage. Right. Oh man, what's he called? There's a psychology dude. Well, I mean, I think that's common knowledge. It has been known for ages and ages that if you practice something, you'll get better at it. Right? Each multi-strike does more and more damage. Oh man, multi-strike was so great with Flicker Strike. It was so much fun. I rummaged through the cabinets and packed up oh right, you picked everything. I came out and immediately ran straight into Elisa. Going for a hike? Yeah, for a hike, I reassured her. Well, take care. She gave me a sly smile and went on her way. I hastened my steps to the infirmary. Wait, is he gonna kidnap her and drag her out to the forest? What's the plan here, Simeon? The nurse is a human too in the end, so eventually she will go to lunch. I hid in the bushes, waiting. Time flew by fast. My thoughts have settled and I had a firm decision. I haven't thought my plan out beyond the first few steps. I simply didn't care. The most important thing is that I act the way I think is appropriate, and whatever happens next, let it happen. Colgate Inantep says he just said to take no prisoners and then proceeds to kidnap. So many lies. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that's some peak he was talking about, that he was a very analytical person and he was proud of his analytical personality. But here, the most important thing is to act the way I think is appropriate. Don't think about it, just do it and let it happen. So many lies. At last, the nurse came out of the infirmary. She looked around and, noticing no danger, locked the infirmary with a key and quickly went towards the canteen. Did she lock her in there so Slavia can't get out? As she went around the corner, I got to the window in a few bounds and started to hectically knock on it. All right. Slavia showed up soon. Semyon, what are you doing here? You're not allowed to. How are you feeling? I'm fine, but Olga told me to stay here for another day. Oh, she told me something completely different. Okay, get out, I said with confidence. What are you talking about? What for? She asked fearfully. Yeah, look at that, fearfully. Get out now, I'll explain everything later. Yeah, he is. Like, what, kidnapping with, what's it called? Chloroform and stuff like that. You know, the chloroform thing they do in TV is a myth, by the way. It takes like a minute or something to knock someone out with chloroform. I've heard. Don't quote me on it, though. I haven't looked into it. I haven't tried it myself, but I've heard. She looked at me closely for a while, but then opened the window without further argument. Oh, he's coming along. Oh, and also, you know, in movies when they kidnap people and stuff like that, they put duct tape over the mouth. I have tried that once, though. You can just open your mouth. It doesn't stop you from speaking at all. You can just do like that. Lick your lips a little bit and it just comes off. You can't duct tape shut. You have to like go around and around and like shove it in there so you can't move your jaw properly. Banana Waffle Monkey says, I'd imagine you can bypass that cooldown with a higher molarity. Oh, holy shit. That language just, first it went like this, and then I had to look at it, and then, molarity. Now it makes sense. Units of concentration, yeah. I remember I did study a little bit of chemistry. That's so difficult. Molarity. Colgate in on tap says, how about a blunt object to the head? Does that work as fast as it does in TV? Oh, it works faster. There you go. Haven't you seen like the real like slap competitions where they slap people and they just knock them out with a slap? You don't need a blunt object. You can just punch and slap really hard and you can knock them out like that. That works faster. That's way better than... you do risk like brain trauma, brain injury. So if you care about their well-being, I mean, if you're kidnapping them, I suppose you don't. So might as well use a blunt object, right? Unless you're like tricking them, but then the chloroform would make no sense either. Yeah, kind of curious. I don't know enough about chemistry and chloroform, but maybe if you make it way denser, something. Or higher molarity. It's not more dense. Well, I feel dense sometimes. All right. So what's happening next? I helped her to jump out down to the ground. Okay, what's next? Let's go. I grabbed her hand and made my way to the forest. Slavia stopped a few minutes later. Semyon, what are we doing? What's wrong? Do you think that everything was right the way it was? No, I don't. But it will be even worse this way. Why? We have a right to act the way we think is correct. Oh, assuming that she wants what he wants? Okay, but what will happen next? This is not the way to seduce a woman. I haven't thought about it yet. Every step in my plan had gone quite well until now, but I wasn't keen on thinking even one step ahead. Take a look. I opened the bag and showed the things that I took from the camp leader's cabin. And? Slavia looked at me inquiringly. I don't know. We'll stay in the forest for a while. Show them that our opinion matters. But that's stupid and childish. Nice. Well, if you don't want to. She gave me a lamentable look. Ooh. I'll do as you say. These words gave me the creeps. As you say? Nobody ever said anything like that to me. In any case, I think it is the best decision for now. All right. I laid the sleeping bag on the ground, and we sat on it. So, what are we gonna do? I don't know. I've never been so close to utter failure. No, I wasn't questioning my choice, but indeed I had no idea what to do next. What would you suggest? It would be nice to have something to eat. Have you brought anything with you? Nope. And that was exactly what I'd have forgotten. No, I haven't, I replied slowly. Oh, that's fine. We kept sitting in silence. I wonder if they will look for us, though even if they do, they are unlikely to succeed. The forest is big enough. But food. By the evening, I'll get hungry too. Okay, stay here. I'll be right back. Where are you going? To get some food. Maybe we should go together. No, I'll be right back. What is he doing? Like he's lost it. I mean, why not be like honest when she said, what about something to eat? I've got something you can eat right here. Then pointing toward his crotch. I headed back to the camp at a rapid pace, leaving Slavia alone in the glade. What are you doing, dude? I'm absolutely certain that she won't go anywhere and will wait for me. Yeah, she's behaving suspiciously, not like a human, but like a robot. I wish I was certain that I'll remember the way back as well. Even if they haven't started to look for us both yet, then they'll surely have found out that Slavia is missing. So I have to move carefully and try not to get noticed. In general, every single pioneer was a threat now. Not only those who knew me. Such an obvious kidnapping. Yeah, there you go. Will surely. Yeah, he said take them prisoners, but he took a prisoner. Surely be known to everyone in no time. She can't flee though, so it's not a very good prison. It's the prison of the mind. And while getting to the canteen in a few sprints was not hard at all, I had no idea what to do next. I can't just walk in there like nothing has happened. Why are you hiding there? Said Uliana. I almost jumped out of my skin. Uliana was standing behind me. Getting hungry? She stared at me. Come on, why so quiet? I was tongue-tied for a moment and couldn't think of an answer. So, why have you come? I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to say I was just hungry. Let's get out the cheat sheet. Cheat sheet. I need cheat sheets. I want to make sure I don't screw this up. Wanted to get something for Slavia. Alright, there we go. I want to get something for Slavia. Oops. Oh, really? Yeah, really. All right, I'll be right back. Much to my surprise, Juliana didn't ask any awkward questions. In the blink of an eye, she zipped out of sight through the doors of the canteen. I was wondering whether I should trust her and wait, or I should flee before she returned with backup. However, Juliana interrupted my doubts quickly as she reappeared in a couple of minutes with a plastic bag in her hands. Here you go. The bag was full with buns and had a few packs of kefir in it. But why? Well, 'cause it's brave and cool. She smiled slyly. Best regards, Slavia. Juliana waved goodbye and ran away. I stood there for some time in confusion, but then went back to the forest. It was completely unlike Juliana, is it? Frankly speaking, I was thankful to her. I was kind of like her. I felt like. In the end, I couldn't get food myself during the day without getting myself into trouble. Upon getting back to the plane, I found Slavia sitting on the sleeping bag in the exact same pose. Here, I gave the bag to her. You got it so fast, she said excitedly. Well, I found help. Slavia gave me a questioning look, but I didn't go into details. We ate busily without saying a word. I sighed with satisfaction in the end. Ah, good, really good. Yeah, agreed Slavia. What are we gonna do now? Maybe you have suggestions? About what? Well, at least how to deal with the camp leader. I don't know. Are you sure? Yes, I am, I interrupted her. This is an act of protest, after all. She must be aware that she can't order me, I stuttered, order us around. I feel like I've said something stupid. Even if I was indeed Olga's errand boy, Slavia was. You're funny. He gave a cute smile. We could just go and talk to her. If you want to sit here and wait, I'm fine with it. Try to talk to her. Are you sure you did it the right way? What is the right way? To be honest, I don't know the answer. Such awkward talks were always something of an insurmountable task for me. I bet if I knew how to deal with such cases, things would go another way. Yeah, they would indeed. Of course, since I was afraid and blaming myself, there was no chance to be confident. It's not up to you if you're a confident person or not. Well, practice gives confidence. Practice makes perfect, and you gain confidence. And when gaining mastery and watching anime and memes, then you're not practicing your social skills, are you, Semyon? I don't know. Slavia burst into laughter. What? Nothing. I just feel like a princess who was saved from the evil witch's castle by Prince Charming. I looked at her carefully. While all this sounded quite romantic, I thought that Slavia had what she had said just was absolute nonsense. But generally, Olga was an evil witch. So it makes sense. Yes, the similarity is definitely there, I said, spelling out every word. And the princes are given no choice in such cases, usually. Yeah. Slavia continued in a cryptic tone. Given no choice? That's impossible. It's me who has no choice here. Just sit and wait until I get back to my reality by some miraculous chance. Does Slavia have anything in common with me? She's a role model pioneer, hardworking and beautiful. She has hundreds, if not thousands of options. Probably this is the moment I've been dreaming about my whole life. Such an unreachable girl as Slavia, not only sitting next to me, speaking and laughing, but completely depending on me. But is it a good or a bad thing? What should I do next? There were more questions than answers. And it's hard enough to make a decision about my own life and take responsibility for my own actions. How could I do it for both of us? Oh, that is actually one way to make life easier. Because, like, I don't know if you tried, like, when you're on your own and just gonna cook dinner, you don't really spend a lot of effort to making a good and nice fancy dinner, right? But then, if you're having guests over and you're gonna cook them dinner, then you spend way more effort, right? So usually, if you have trouble with this, hard enough making a decision about your own life, it's way easier to take responsibility for others and making stuff for others. It's way easier to take responsibility than. Before now, I'd keep myself distant from such problems in the hope of everything resolving on its own without my input. But I couldn't act this way now. Not even because of the fact that heaven only knows where and in what time I was. You know, I could be wrong. Slavia looked at me inquiringly. We won't achieve anything indeed by just sitting here. And not just that, it's stupid and childish. You were right. And what should we do then? Let's go. We got up. I took the sleeping bag and headed to the camp, holding Slavia by the hand. Soon we came to the square where Olga was standing as if she was waiting for us. Long time no see, she said angrily. Do you have something to say to excuse yourself? I'm pretty sure it's I have nothing. I have nothing. There we go. I have nothing to justify myself for, I replied calmly. Oh, really? Okay then. So you think all of this is normal? Fine. She paused for a few moments and turned to Slavia. Go to your cabin. I understand that you're not the one to blame. Slavia didn't move an inch. She just lowered her eyes and held my hand even more tightly. Slavia? As you can see, she doesn't want to. What did you say to seduce her? Oh my God, I said nothing. I started to lose my cool. Why do you think we've done something wrong? We haven't done anything at all. But we will. We will. If you consider it wrong, like they do for some reason. As if I haven't seen it, Olga grinned. So what have you seen? She paused, but continued a second later in the same tone. I've seen enough. Wow, you're so good at drawing conclusions. Getting a job in the secret police? Stop it with your rudeness. I didn't even think of starting it, I said sarcastically. Okay, your time is up and I'm not willing to continue this pointless argument. You're grounded till the end of the session. Oh, really? And how are you gonna manage that? Impudence. The impudence. Rebellion. I'll lock you down in the cabin. And what if I object? Olga gave me a surprised look. It was just now that I realized a crowd was gathering around us. I could spot Lena, Alisa, and Uliana in the crowd. What do you mean, you object? Said the camp leader slowly. I meant exactly what I said. But you can't. A true pioneer. Well, that means I'm a false one. Olga paused as if she was pulling herself together. You think I can't force you? How would you do that? I laughed emphatically, ignoring the various mystical forces that I was least concerned about right now. The camp leader indeed had absolutely no idea about enforcing anything. You know what? What? I looked at Olga, already understanding. It looked like Olga already understood that she had lost, but still couldn't admit her defeat because of her pride and her position of eldest and wisest in the whole camp. Alright, so Komsomol was a youth division of the Communist Party. Young people who failed to join it generally were treated as outcasts in the society. Yeah, and he's used to that, right? Watching animes. That's what happened when you're an outcast. Kinda seems like he's used to it. I'll send a report to your school. You won't be accepted to the council. You won't be able to join the party. Oh. This is like some culture stuff here. It's even worse. Actually, I found that interesting. Like when we get ideologies, extreme ideologies. Banana Waffle Monkey says negative reinforcement. Yeah, exactly. You get punished and like super punished. It's like there is one path and you take this path. Like communism would be considered the far extreme left by most people, like in politics when we compare, and like fascism would be the extreme far right, right? If you agree with that, it's interesting that they end up looking very similar. It's just that when you go to the far right, start killing people that looks different than us or come from a different ethnicity, like looks different, ethnic different background, someone that comes from a different place. While in when you go to the far left and the extremists who start to kill people there, you start to kill people who thinks differently. Like you won't be able to join the party. You gotta join the party. Like if you go to the super extreme people who actively doesn't want to be part of the party, thinks differently. Like where you come from and your ethnicity doesn't matter, just the way you think. And it's like both that extreme ideologies end up in the same place if you take it to the extreme. Kill people who are different. We did a bit of that. How long ago was it? 70 years ago? Like the Nazis. And if I know I haven't read a lot about Soviet history, but I'm pretty sure like a lot of people just were disappeared and never seen again and killed in gulags and stuff like that. It's kind of rough. And look at, we have China doing it right now. Are they called the Muslims there? The Uyghurs or whatever they're called? It's forced, instead of like killing people, they just sterilized them and put them in re-education camps. Gotta join the party. Can't think differently. I had no way to respond against such serious threats. Accept it. You have no choice. Anyway. Here we go. Slavia, who had kept silent until now, intervened in the matter. Olga, why do you assume you're right from the start? Why is Semyon always to blame for everything? What's so special about what happened? What have we done wrong? Are you even sure of what you're blaming us for? Slavia continues, and if it was any other than me standing here, would you act the same way? Slavia, you should know that. That's the point. I know everything. I know you. I know that Semyon hasn't done anything wrong. I know that you're prejudiced against him without any clear reason, by the way, even though he's trying his best. I mean, she is assuming hormones and stuff, right? And that is what's happening. It's completely what's happening. Well, combined with, prejudice, yeah, but also that is what's happening. Because teenagers are gonna teenage, right? They don't have a choice about it. Like you said, hormones and stuff. Teenagers are gonna teenage. We shouldn't blame them for it. And also, it doesn't negate her point that, as far as they know now, they haven't looked up the condoms yet. Yes, it looks awkward at times, but I know he puts all his energy and heart into it. And you're going to blame him just because he is the way he is. Here we go. Just the way he is. Like, he has no control of the way he is. Only his actions. I was charmed by Slavia's monologue, listening to it without really getting whether she was praising me, declaring fact, or stating her opinion, which is probably prejudiced. I guess her exact words flew over me. Just the melody of her voice was enough for me. It hypnotized and carried me away from this sick woman and stupid pioneer camp, while calming and healing the wounds in my soul. Okay, I don't know what to do with you anymore. Olga calmed down a bit, but I don't think that I approve of your behavior. She turned away, sliced through the crowd, and headed to her cab. I expected a storm of applause, like in American movies. But the crowd started to dissolve quickly as the show it started to dissolve as quickly as the show came to its end. And Uliana just winked at me slyly. Well, we kind of overdid it. I looked at Slavia. She was smiling. No, not at all. I'd be arguing with her until late at night, and you nailed it right and clear. I wouldn't get the right words like that even if I had an entire week to think. Oh, come on. What? That's the simple truth. Truth. Not a trace of lies or flattery. Oh, fuck. It's lunch 10 minutes ago. She gazed into my eyes and burst out laughing. I just said the first thing that came to mind, and this is how it turned out. Your first thought is the right one. That's how the saying goes. Your first thought is the right one. That is how the saying goes. Ooh. Sometimes trust your instinct, but don't use the word right in there, please, pretty please. Science is hard. I guess it is. I just noticed now that we were still holding each other by the hand. After feeling a bit awkward, I tried to pull my hand free, but Slavia didn't let me. This gave me the chills for a second. Is this a good spot to end? Where will we go? Here we go. That's a good spot to end and continue tomorrow. Save the game. And going to lunch. There we go. And we'll